Hey Brickmaniacs, we're here at World War Brick, where we're turning the tables on Beyond the Brick, who decided to come to the convention and check out some of these incredible builds behind us. But we decided to steal them aside, give them a little taste of the sit rep, and put them in the interviewee's seat. So when you guys come to a convention like this, what's kind of step one beyond, getting in the car and actually driving there?
Well, first off, thanks for having us on the show here. We always appreciate it. It's good to chat with other people on video. So yeah, we walk into a show and we're kind of immediately looking for the builds that catch our eye. And there's a lot of different things that can go into that. So some of those factors are the size of the build. So builds that tend to do better on YouTube and that we're more interested in covering are the larger layouts, things that have a lot of minifigures. If you can tell a story with it is always great. So if it's like a timeline type build, like here at the show, we had this whole layout over here that was a really nice kind of like timeline build of air history. So that's really cool, that type of thing. Anything with like lights or sound, that kind of thing. Movement is always really good. So a lot of different factors. Anything else, John?
Yeah. So we go to a lot of different events and see a lot of different things, obviously. So another thing we're always looking for is just what's unique. And at a show like this is fantastic because it's also military themed, obviously. So it's a lot of it is very unique. So that's another thing we're looking at, especially at larger shows. We see a lot of obviously castles and Star Wars and things like that. So we're looking specifically at what's unique here. What hasn't been done before. What haven't we featured in the past?
Yeah, sure. Do you guys do a lot of like off the camera, like beforehand, like when we're talking about, because like I know a lot of times on the sit rep we'll have to sit down and like the designer has been a while since they've actually like looked at it, so we'll get some history, some background, whatever. Do you do a lot of that when you approach a mock, or is it just kind of like, hey, tell us about what's going on?
So John and I will walk around the show and we'll be talking as we walk around. We'll see something and start discussing, how would we cover that? How do we want to feature it? What is it that makes that unique if we do a video on it? But then in terms of the builder and the build itself, we just walk up cold to basically everybody. And we're like, hey, do you want to make a video on this? So I'm not sure what the perception the viewers have of how we work is, but yeah, it's really just walking up to people.
What's going on?
Exactly. Now we're fortunate at this point, so we've been doing this like 10 years now, that a lot of people are familiar with Beyond the Brick. A lot of people have seen our videos, so they have a general idea of how we operate and kind of what the video looks like. But no, for the most part, and except for rare exceptions, it's just walking up to a builder and saying hello, maybe chatting with them a little bit. I kind of try to gauge how comfortable they are on camera, and if I feel like they're maybe a little more nervous, then I'll chat with them and give them a little more kind of info up front, and then we'll just launch on in.
Well, you see how nice I am?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Giving you a chance to talk. Go ahead.
No, you got to just launch in with Lando and just turn the camera on.
Just put the camera right on me. Exactly. No. I guess I have a question. There's been tons of new people getting interested in Lego, but haven't gone to a convention before. Do you have any advice for these people or recommendations?
Great question.
Yeah, so it's going to a Lego convention is one of those things you just have to come out and experience. So don't overthink it. Just show up. Bring what you can. A lot of people I think that whatever they build is maybe not good enough, or they're going to be shown up by everybody here. Just come out and bring it and display it. It really there's nothing too small or that's not good enough or whatever. And you'll learn so much when you see everything that everybody else builds. You'll get so much better, and then you'll be better for the next time you come out. So really just come out and experience it, because otherwise you can watch a lot of videos and think you figure it out, but it's all about being there.
Work to not be self-conscious. Just show up, bring your bricks, and have a great time.
Right, and also to add to that, definitely don't be afraid to go up and say hi to people. The Lego community is incredible. Obviously, that's why we enjoy featuring so many different builders and so many different people on the channel. Is because they're so talented. So definitely, if you see a build that you like, let the builder know if they're sitting there. They love to hear that feedback. Or if you see a parts technique or have a question about a build, everyone is going to be willing to chat with you and kind of give you some insight into the build. So be social if you can, if you're comfortable with that, because it'll make your experience much better.
Oh, cool. All right. So be unself-conscious. Just bring your bricks and go talk to people, because networking is half the reason we do these things, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. That's really, really cool. So I guess I wonder, being on the road obviously is a lot. How do you guys kind of do you both just love being on the road, or how do you take care of yourself?
Yeah, that's a good question. We both really enjoy the travel aspect of it, and it's something that kind of makes, since when we go somewhere, we always try to do some travel in the area as well. So we don't just drop in for the weekend of the show and then head out. So that makes it always more interesting, just because we get to experience travel along with it. So we both enjoy traveling. Obviously, I don't know if anybody really enjoys like long flights and that type of thing, but we do the best we can with it. And yeah, we try to have some fun with it and really relax as much as we can in terms of adding on extra days of trips and things like that.
Yeah, so here in Minneapolis, we made sure to stop at the Mall of America on our way, and you can't come here without doing that. Obviously, amazing Lego store and just like a really cool place to walk through in general. So try to look for little local landmarks and see what we can along the way.
That's a cool way to do that. So when was the first time you guys went international?
Our first international trip was 2017. We went to Europe. So we were going to the Portugal Fan Weekend show. So that was our very first international show. And then we traveled around to a few other countries like Germany, Belgium, the Netherlands, kind of went around. And we always do meetups, especially when we're traveling internationally. We'll make a video and say, here's the cities we're going to be in.
Yeah.
And we'll meet up with local fans, which is awesome because, you know, they get to meet us, we get to hang out with them, and they can kind of show us around then. And obviously they understand the language and local culture and things that make it a lot easier for us to explore places.
Yeah, and you kind of feel like locals then at that point because you're chilling with somebody who's like living there. That's cool.
Yeah.
We should stress our contacts all over this.
You guys have, I'm sure, a lot of international fans. So if you want to take this global,
just couches from here on out.
Couches, that's it.
You got.
Yeah, I got a question. So you said 10 years you've been going for?
Yes.
What stands out to you as the biggest difference from when you started to compared to now? Either for
Following count.
Yeah, follow account might be one thing.
people watch us.
Yeah, people not watching us. That's cool. Or either in conventions, is there anything different from earlier conventions to nowadays?
Yeah, I guess that's a good question. I mean, certainly the online community has just exploded over the last decade that we've been making videos, and we've seen, you know, there's so many, everybody now has an Instagram, and has a YouTube channel, has a podcast, all those things, which that's fantastic. You know, back when we first started, there were, far fewer of those. There were a few Lego blogs, but yeah, not nearly the online presence that everybody has now. And shows have continued to grow as well. You know, we look at Brickworld Chicago coming up here, and it's like larger than ever this year, hitting record numbers. So yeah, what else can you think of?
Yeah, I think just the number of shows is a really big thing as well. So when we first started, you had like your Brick Fair shows, the Brick World shows, but I mean, there were a few others scattered throughout. But nowadays, there's shows happening like every weekend, multiple in the country between all of the different shows that rotate around in different parts of the country. So just the access that fans have to the Lego fan community, to Lego in general these days is just really unprecedented and far greater than when we first started 10 years ago.
So obviously you guys are proud of what you've created, and it's an amazing thing, and you know it does all these things. But like, it really was the spearhead for fan-created Lego content. Do you look at kind of the community and culture that has been created via content creation and look at that and go, oh my gosh, this is exactly what we had hoped for when we started this thing, and now not only are we doing it, but there are other people out there doing exactly the same thing.
For sure, it's super exciting to see how many YouTube channels and blogs, and you know, now you've got TikTok and Instagram and all these other new platforms that didn't even exist when we first started. So it is exciting to see how much that community has grown, and the fact that there are other people that help, you know, shine a light on creations, or a lot of people have kind of taken it on themselves to feature their own creations. How people have gotten better about taking videos and taking photos and that sort of thing. So it's great just to see that there's all these platforms for people to get the word out about their builds.
That's awesome. Yeah. Anything else?
Speaking of more like online stuff, that kind of just exploding. I know there's lots of like drama on these online communities, but is there any like positive things you're seeing coming out of these spaces?
Out of online community?
Yeah, there's always this drama. Like, what's some words of encouragement, I guess, going forward?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the online communities are fantastic, and people are able to, encourage each other and share photos and videos of what they're building. And if maybe you're better at something than I am, then you can give me advice, and maybe I'm better at something than you are, and we can do the opposite. So that's fantastic, especially when people can gather around a specific topic, such as military. And there's so much overlap there that I think it's amazing what the online communities are able to do.
We've actually had a number of people here at World War Brick that said their build was inspired by videos that they saw on Beyond the Brick, and they kind of took some of those ideas, ran with it, were able to expand in a similar idea. So I think that cool. the positive of it is definitely the inspiration that people can pull from that in their own builds, and then obviously meeting people online. So you saw this a lot during COVID when shows were shut down, is live streams and podcasts and that sort of thing that really got super popular. People interacting online and now being able to meet those people in person at conventions.
So was that kind of surprising to you guys a little bit, in the sense that, like, yeah, we're here to showcase these builds, and obviously there's a lot of people who don't know that there are Lego builders like this who would come across a viral video and be like, wow, that's incredible. But then you look at it and be like, well, some of these people are watching this because they're like, all right, where's Beyond the Brick right now? I want to know what my next build is. Ooh, I bet I could try that. Like, was that something that you were kind of like, dang, there's a lot of builders out here?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and during the COVID especially, we saw such an explosion of people tuning into our stuff and then other people as well, and that online community just blowing up and again getting inspiration from it. Yeah.
Anything else?
I think that covered a
Well,
lot
okay,
of
before we
different
wrap
things,
it up here at
seriously.
World War Brick, because we really want to try to break the internet, get on over here, man.
Whoa! We got a flyby shy time.
All the way from California. Hello. I'm just crashing the party.
I was going to say, speaking of inspired content creators via people who spearheaded this movement, we have one of them here with us right now. Shai, what's going on, man?
How's it going? What up, fam? How's it going? It's good to be here. I mean, come on, like what? This is like royalty for the military community right here. You have Beyond the Brick, and we have Brickmania. Come on, this is the best place to be if you're in this community. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Sweet. I think that's perfect. I was going to say, I don't know how I'm going to put a wrap on that better than that, so let's just let Shai in the video.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go.